Cristian Javier came in and didn't have any idea what he was doing. He let the first four runners come on base. He spoiled a beauty of a home run by Jose Altuve. But then here comes Tuck, and he saved a day. And we're going to talk about that. And what did Jim Crane said? For reals? We'll talk about that and more on today's Locked On Astros podcast.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. You find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right, and apparently Brett is a new part-time owner of the Houston Astros. We joke about this because he got to meet Jim Crane today, and so I don't think that he has enough money to be a part owner of the Astros, but we are excited about what the Astros were able to do, 6-game winning streak after kind of the losing ways the Astros were going through. You're going to have these hot and cold streaks. That's all teams go through this. I wasn't even worried about that at the time, but it's just kind of frustrating. And speaking of frustrating, sometimes you get frustrated with these prospects that sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. But we had this guy that on the other day, Aram, at Layton, and he does a really good job covering all the prospects, not just for the Astros, but across baseball. And the Locked On Today MLB prospects, that's a great podcast that y'all need to go check out. And wherever you get your podcast, just go listen to the Locked On MLB prospects. And I'm sure it's going to be really busy right now with the draft on Sunday, starting on Sunday. And we're going to be having I think there's going to be a live MLB draft online stream or something. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about all of a sudden the YouTube is going up. I tried to do the whole shave my beard thing, and it looked like it went up a little bit, but
you can still do it. We're 60 away, Eric.
Should we do it like this? Should we extend it till the end of the
I think we
series?
Should. Yeah, I think we should.
Should we up the odds? Should we say if we reach 1,000 by the end of the Yankees?
No, you can't. You can't move the bar. You can't do that. We're not politicians here. We're sports guys. Okay. Here's the thing.
All right, we can talk about it later, but yeah.
Here's the thing. Two things I want to say. I want to say thank you to Mr. Safety out there who hooked me up with a ticket. I got to join his family. They had some sweet third row seats in section 129. That was awesome. I'm flexing that a little bit. Alex, who's also a loyal listener, he bought me a brewski out there in left field. That was cool. But it was cool interacting with various people. The more people I run into and talk about our show, they've either, oh, hey, I've heard you, or I've heard of you. I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. So we got more people coming online, and we appreciate all the support. And it was really cool meeting Jim Crane. It's actually the second time I've interacted with him. Really neat guy. I got to tell him about the podcast. And so hopefully at one point, he listens and checks us out. And I told him what separated us from all the others is that we stick with the team, that we are positive on this team. And, Eric, tonight, this game, it didn't start out in a positive way. This is the second game in a row that the Astros played the Oakland A's, and the Oakland A's looked like they were going to come out and kind of command the flow of the game. And it was just one of those things where you're like, well, what's going to happen? And they only got one run in that first inning. You would have thought they would have gotten more runs. And outside of the solo home run, Luis Garcia, for the most part, did a really good job. But for a while there, you were going, is this going to be another one of those 6-run, 2-inning games where you have to come back from? And this is an Oakland A's team that is not a bad team. They are a good team. And
with one all-star.
Oh man, I know but this team from top to bottom, Eric, They had 4 hits tonight, but you know what? They had 4 runs.
2 of them were home runs. That was
Yeah.
a key. You have Jose Altuve's big one in the 3rd inning. That was a big key to the game. And then you had the big one. It was 7th inning was Kyle Tucker, and that was a blast. And so I know yesterday you were making fun of me for comparing him to Josh Reddick, and I in my head, as soon as he did that, I'm like, I'm pretending like, oh yeah, he listened to the podcast yesterday, and he's like, you were comparing me to Josh Reddick, really? Let me show you this. So
well,
yeah.
now, not that I actually alter things during a game, but when Tucker was up, I said he's going to take this one deep. Before Altuve hit his, Mr. Energy, Mr. Safety himself said, I've got a feeling about this Altuve at bat. Boom. And so, there's something electric going on in Minute Maid Park. And if y'all haven't made it to a game this year, you've got to make it, because after this next game against Oakland, we take on the Yankees. And get this, our old baseball coach at Crosby High School, Coach Vaughn, is one of the seat attendants out there in the Crawford boxes. He said, I'm getting ready for the Yankee series. He said, we actually have to deal with more issues during the Yankee series because of the Yankees fans. So it's definitely going to be a playoff atmosphere. It's definitely going to be intense. So Astros fans, keep your cool, talk to the attendant, let the authorities deal with it, and be friends with everybody. I made friends with some Oakland A's fans this weekend. I've been to the last 2 games. And so it's actually been it's been a fun playoff type atmosphere. And I feel like it's going to be like this the rest of the season.
Yeah, the A's have been dropping a lot of games recently, and the Astros now have a 5.5 games lead ahead of them. I know there's still a lot of games to play. We haven't reached the All-Star break, so it's still too early to claim the AL West, but it's really good to have this lead. And I know Dusty Baker said, I guess I can go ahead and do this real quick.
Thoughts by Dusty.
So Dusty Baker, I guess I should have had it ready, but Dusty Baker on having a lead, he said, we're trying to pad it some more. 5.5 games is great, but it's better than being 5.5 games back.
Very good, Dusty.
And Dusty Baker on Michael Brantley throwing out Ramon Laureano at the plate. That was a game saver. That was a huge, huge play.
That was a great play. And these outfield throws last night from Miles Straw, tonight was from Brantley. There was it was an electric play, and that play was close.
It's safe to run later too, because
it did.
Because that guy was like, I ain't running on him after that last play. And I have one more. Dusty Baker on Luis Garcia, he said, Luis kept us in the game and then some.
Now, did he say Lewis or did he say Luis?
Luis, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm so used to saying the whole name.
I wouldn't be surprised if he said Lewis. Anyways, and that is the thing. This team is performing. They are firing on all cylinders. When you get 4 hits and you score 4 runs and you beat a good team, right, that's really the definition of a juggernaut. You can't beat that. We've got Ryan Presley, and think about it. We've got some talk, and we'll talk about this later. But Click has said that Crane has given him
not yet.
No, I'm leading into it.
Okay.
I'm just saying. So there's that talk, and so if this team is doing great things now, and we add something, oh my gosh, dude, the sky's the limit with this Astros.
The Astros now have the best record in the AL. They have the second best record in baseball. They're doing this without a let's not pick on Miles Straw anymore. He has become that center fielder the Astros need.
He's doing great.
They have maybe some holes in the bullpen, but Joe Smith is back. So that's good. Taylor Jones was sent down. So, but the Astros have some of their big guys back. We're still waiting on Anoli Paredes to come back, but Joe Smith is back. And so the Astros have some of their primary guys back in the bullpen, but they're 54-33. They scored 4 runs on 2 swings, basically. So they were, just think about this. The Astros were 2.5 games out just 3 weeks ago. Now they're 5.5 games up on the A's. And so that just shows how good the Astros have played. And it's just crazy how bad the A's have just been playing recently. And it kind of makes you wonder, just like, are the Astros just fully loaded, or is that just something that you can just chew?
Okay, so fully loaded chew is a tobacco-free long cut, and they're pouches that give you a pack, dip, spit, and buzz that you're used to with tobacco. So if you are trying to quit and you're trying to get a product that is tobacco-free, nicotine, this is the purest form that's out there. If it's the only moist pouch on the market. All other nicotine pouches are dry, wet pouches. Nothing dip, spits, and packs like fully loaded. Fully loaded chew is offering the Locked On team listeners a special offer right now. You can try it for just $1. You get 1 can for $1. Go to fullyloadedchew.com, and that promo code is Locked On. Just $1 free shipping. If you use the promo code Locked On at checkout, you'll get that $1 offer. The next time you go for a dip, make it a fully loaded chew at fullyloadedchew.com.
Alrighty, and if you want to go get that fully loaded chew, you need to have a car that works. So you might want to call rockauto.com and get that part you need.
So rockauto.com has been around 20 years. They're on the internet. So instead of going to a store where they're going to charge you a different price than they would a professional mechanic, and they're not going to give you a price break, go to rockauto.com. If you need brakes like I do on your 2017 Nissan Titan, go grab the rotors, the brake pads, and you can do it yourself. You don't have to pay someone else to do it. Also, they are delivered to your door. There's no charge there. Go and look, hundreds of models, whether you drive the Swag Mom van, whether you drive the Dodge Voyager or you have the Lincoln Continental and you need carpet for your car, whatever it is, you got the Maserati. Go check it out. Type in your make, your model, the year. And when you go to the checkout, they'll say, where did you hear about us? And in that box, write Locked On Astros. Let them know that we sent you. rockauto.com, reliably low prices, reliable website, all the parts you'll ever need at rockauto.com.
I wonder if they have the flux capacitor for my DeLorean.
They might. You know what's funny is one of my son's basketball coaches actually drives a DeLorean.
Okay, cool.
So I'll have to ask him if he can get one.
So you know what time it is? It's time for Clickbait. And it's time for Clickbait. I really need to get some sound biters for that. So James Click was actually on the Sean Unfiltered show today, and he came out and basically said that he talked to Jim Crane. I guess they had this conversation, and that Jim Crane has told him that the club does not have to stay under the luxury tax threshold when it comes to making trades at the deadline this year. So basically, he said, whatever you need to do, go do. And so this is what also James Click had to say. And this is the biggest part. He said, when they said, well, how much would you go over on the luxury tax threshold? He said, if we're going to go over, we're going to go way over. We're not going to just go by over like by $2 million, because it doesn't matter how much you go over. Yes, you're going to have to pay a certain percentage over that. But if you're going to get penalized draft picks and everything, you might as well just go all in. So if you need that extra outfielder, go get that outfielder. If you need that extra starter, go get that starter. If you need 2 bullpen pieces, go get that bullpen pieces. I just don't know if the Astros have all the pieces to all the prospects you need to go do that. But who knows? Who knows what it's going to take? But it's good to see that Jim Crane is actually doing this. And he said he has never said to me, you have to stay under that line. If we have an opportunity to bring in somebody that we feel dramatically improves our chances to win a World Series, and it takes us over that line, he's willing.
Yeah, that is the attitude of someone who is making the right moves. And one of the first things that Jim Crane did all year that we've talked about before is he provided for the housing of the minor leaguers. He wants this team to be successful. He wants another championship. And you hear so many times with, let's just take the Texans, okay? They've got an organization where they sell out tickets and they have season ticket holders fill in that stadium, and they don't really have to do anything. They don't have to win because they're just a moneymaker. Jim Crane is more than just about making the money. He's about bringing titles to Houston. And that is clear in his expectation here. And I think it's a great tone. And even when he says you can break the bank, basically, you know that James Click, coming from Tampa, has the mindset to try to make the most out of what he can get. So he's going to try to squeeze blood out of a turnip. So he's going to try to not spend as much money as he has to, but he's got the freedom and flexibility to. I think this opens the door wide for Taylor Rogers. And I know people are talking about Kimbrel, and that's great. But I think Taylor Rogers, if the players are saying they want him, why not get him? He has a phenomenal career, 3.06 ERA in 2021. He's at 2.65 in 34 innings, 33.3 strikeout percentage, 5.1% walk. And his contract situation is this: 2021, $6 million. 2022 arbitration. 2023 arbitration. So basically, this guy would be a free agent after 2022 if I'm reading that correctly. And we would, though, have to pay with our farm system. I don't want to give up a Chas McCormick. I don't want to give up someone that's a high value. I don't think they're giving up Corey Lee. I don't think they're giving up anybody like that has any kind of moxie or future. Toro probably would be out the door. I don't know who else you could package in a deal, but if they're willing to pay, this is going to be high risk, high reward. You are going to have to give up somebody. You hope that they don't turn out to be Teoscar Hernandez. No offense, but you hope they turn out to be more like Colin Moran, where they're kind of more of an average major league player, not an all-star. And so that's the hope, is how much you're going to lose. I don't mind the paying part. We can pay out the wazoo, but how much are you willing to lose personnel-wise to make this team competitive? And if you don't win the World Series and you make the move, is it a bust?
Right. So let's kind of educate our listeners as to what happens if they stay under the luxury tax threshold versus if they go over. Okay. So let's just say that the Astros offer player A, namely Carlos Correa, a qualifying offer, and he declines it, or he accepts it, or whatever the whole process is, and he goes and signs somebody else. What could happen with what would happen with the Astros pick they get back if they stay under?
So if they stay under, they would lose a qualifying offer player. They would receive a pick after the comp round 8, number 75 to 80.
That's B. That's comp round B.
Okay, comp round B. Okay, I'm sorry. That B looked like an 8 on this graph I'm looking at. So they could sign a qualifying offer player. They would lose their second highest pick and $500,000 from their international bonus pool,
which would hurt the Astros a lot. Like we talked about, yes. If you want to hurt the Astros, you take it from the international signing bonus pool.
But these are just normal rules, though. These aren't like extra punishments.
Well, I know. Right.
But this would act almost like a punishment. And I don't know if you saw Cuba Baseball and what Phil Selig posted today, but he posted about another player, a Cuban player that the Astros are looking at, a second baseman of the future that they're looking at that has a lot of upside. So Eric, tell us what it would be if the Astros go over the tax threshold.
Taylor Rogers and Craig Kimbrel. They're not going to get Craig Kimball. I'm just going to tell you this. You're going to have to give up a Graber Torres type of prospect to get him. So the Astros don't have that type of player. But this is if they go over and they lose a qualifying offer type of player, the highest pick you can get is a player, a pick after the 4th round. So basically, that's going to be way down in a draft. And if you sign a qualifying offer player, you're going to lose not just the second highest pick. You're going to lose the second and 5th highest pick, and then you're also going to lose $1 million from the international bonus pool. So that's where you're losing an extra pick, and you're losing some money. So that's where the extra stuff in, plus the actual percentage you're paying extra on the luxury tax threshold, which is it's going to be a lot. So you're basically paying double for that extra money. So I don't have all the tax information in front of me, but it's basically you're going to pay double for whatever the money you're going over. So it sucks to do it, but if the Astros are going to go all in, it's going to go all in.
Because here's the thing, World Series titles are not easy to come by. And we know that because the only World Series title we have obviously is 2017. And I really think that's another sticking point here. The organization wants another title. Naturally, anybody wants more World Series titles, especially with 2017 on their mind. Why not go out there and do something else? Because, Eric, this team is on a historic, torrid pace. It is unbelievable. You lock down their chances if you sign what? If you sign bullpen.
I'm going to go out there, and I mean, if I had any money to bet, I would say the Astros are not going to get Craig Kimbrel. I would not bet on that. But if you want to bet on that, go to betonline.ag and go put your money on that. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. Baseball season is in full swing, and you can track all the action on BetOnline. Get all the latest news, odds, and info at all your sporting needs, including MLB, NBA, NHL, and all your UFC and MMA action. If you want to bet on whether H.J. Wheelhouse will meet James Click at the next Astros game he goes to, no, you probably can't bet on that, but you can bet on who will be the home run leader at the end of the year for the Houston Astros. You can bet on who's going to win the Cy Young. You can bet on how many wins the Astros will have at the end of the season, and I think that number is ticking up. Maybe they might break the 100-win barrier if they keep kicking everybody's butt. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore. This is your chance to get in the game as teams prep for the run for the playoffs. Head to the website and use your mobile device to sign up today for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your sportsbook experts. Use the promo code LOCKEDON.
I know a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people saying, "Well, you're going to probably have to trade Abraham Toro." He is one of those guys. You're probably going to have to trade. I know that's what you're going to take. He's shown some experience up in that with the big league club. You're going to have to trade some of these young guys that have come up, maybe Peter Solomon, some of those type of players. You're going to have to. You can't trade John Singleton. I know he's not on the team. He's not on team, but you can't.
But
trade
you can trade
your crappy players for.
You can trade though. You can trade guys like Colin Barber, guys that have upside, but that don't really work into the future picture. I mean, you can trade guys that really have that true major league potential and are showing promise. I mean, have you heard anything about Seth Beer? Heard literally nothing about him. What about JB Buskakis, who is like, oh my gosh, can't believe we traded him for
Matthew Barefoot has kind of put himself out there. Then also Jake Myers has kind of put himself out there. That's the same thing that Brett Phillips did. He kind of had that hot season and he kind of made himself become a big name. The Astros were able to trade him to get, let's go and talk about this. So you met a funny little guy today that had a cheese hat. And that cheese hat actually ended up on the field in front of the A's bullpen, and it was taken into the A's bullpen. Did you know this was going to happen?
No, I had no, I didn't even know that was a thing until I started scouring Twitter. I pulled up in the driveway. I was on the phone call talking to a future guest. And I was like, wait, who photoshopped this hat in this catcher's hand? I didn't even know what happened. I met the guy. He must have it must have fallen off his head because he was standing in the outfield over the dugout.
And the Brendan guy actually called the Astros fans out. He said, "Oh, this is how crappy Astros fans are. They're throwing cheese for the rat."
Okay, here's the thing. If y'all don't know who Brendan is, this guy created this Asterisk Tour Twitter handle. And then what he did when he got like several 100,000 followers, he switched it over to this blog that he has to promote a book that he sells. And what is his last name? Brendan what? What's his last name? Do you remember?
It doesn't matter. We don't have to go into names.
No.
Right.
Here's the deal. Don't buy his book. This guy is a loser. This guy created an account, I believe, with bots and shifted them over to this blog to promote a book that's not even any good about baseball. And all he is about shaming the Astros. He is what is horrible about opposing fan bases. And not all opposing fans are like this, because I met a lot of really cool Oakland A's fans this weekend. They were so legit. Loved it. The one Dodgers fan, not so nice. But anyways, I digress. I didn't know that, guys.
I think it's hilarious that it fell on the field and then it was taken into the A's bullpen and it said, bring out the rat.
That's why. Is that why I saw Mike Fiers run onto the field suddenly, because he saw a big block of cheese?
I don't know, but it was just hilarious. And something else Click said on the show today about the hostile road fan bases. He said, if anything, I think they've used it to drive themselves to even better performances on the road, and the boos give them the power. And so that's what we've been saying, even in the opening series when we played on the road, that they just seem to play better with all the different stuff going on. So
one of the fans next to us said, last night when Jose Altuve struck out, we started talking in our section, maybe we should boo Altuve so he thinks he's on the road and he'll hit a home run. Reverse psychology. I was like, no, don't do that. But that's actually kind of a good idea.
Yeah. So I already talked about Joe Smith coming back. There's some bad news. I guess we can call it bad news with Jose Urquidy. He's not going to resume throwing for at least 2 weeks for sure. No firm timetable has been set for him to return. He said he wants to play. I want to be here. I want to be with the team, but it's part of my job. Injuries happen to everybody. I'm taking it easy just to be good and healthy and play again. So, but it's still bothering him, and they're just going to shut him down. Just remember that he's never thrown more than 108 innings in his professional career. So this is probably not a good sign, but they're probably also looking at this as a chance to, he was struggling there towards the end, and then the injury kind of happened. So maybe this is a chance for him to kind of reset himself. We saw how good Brian Abreu did when he came back. And so
Brian Abreu, yeah, I mean, he pitched great. And Eric, we've won 6 in a row. So I think right now this is as good a time as any. And hey, I want to mention this. I entered in early because I had a season ticket holder ticket. So you're able to get in 30 minutes before the gates open. Bregman looked good. He was taking BP. His swing looked good. He looked like he was just up there comfortable doing his little, he kind of cocks the bat a little bit when he, right before each pitch. And it was good to see Bregman out there taking swings. Someone was like, is he playing tonight? And I'm like, no, he's not playing tonight. We don't need to rush him back. And so this is a perfect time. We're going to go through this intense series with the Yankees. Then we get the All-Star break, and then we get time for those guys to heal and come back. And I'm telling you, man, when we are loaded with our healthy bullpen, when we get whoever it is we're going to get, dude, I really hope we get Rogers. I really think Rogers would be a massive add. And who knows, this Richard Rodriguez may jump on their radar if they're willing to open up that pocketbook, because they've rooked the Pirates before. Maybe they can do it again.
Well, yeah, it's not really about, I mean, I know when you say pocketbook, you mean the prospects, the talent, but
right.
Yeah. So about Bregman, he did take batting practice, and he ran about 85 to 90%. So he's talking about trying to get back to the field with the AAA Sugarland Skeeters, and they're going to be playing in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is where he's from. So he is kind of pushing the Astros, saying, hey, I want to play in front of my family at home. I know I can sell out that stadium.
That would be cool.
So it's going to be from July 15th through the 20th. And he said, I'm not pushing anything, but I might get to see mom and dad. And so he thought that would be cool. And and then he can maybe come back and play sometime a little bit after that. But for him to get back anytime soon, that would be great. But he says, when I'm ready to run, I'll be back playing in the lineup. Hitting, none of that bothers my quad for right now. It's just building up and following through the progression so I can get my legs underneath me. We're moving in the right direction. So if tonight was the first game of the playoffs, I'd be playing. I could have probably played a week ago, but it wouldn't be smart. We've been taking the smartest approach possible and making sure I'm 100% locked in, like the Locked On Astros podcast is.
Exactly. And very good. I like that. That was a great transition. Chad Pinder, I don't know if you saw this, the very last game, the very last play of the game where he grounded out to Correa. He was trying to leg out that single. He was trying to get an infield single. And the second he stepped on the base, he pulled up, and I believe he pulled a hamstring. He was holding his knee, but it looked like he pulled a hamstring, a lot like what happened to Bregman. I mean, he had kind of rolled on the ground a little bit, and both Bob Melvin and the A's trainers came out. You hate to see a guy end a game like that, even if he's on the opposing team. So all the best to Chad Pinder. Hope he's not out long, because those hamstring injuries are a real you-know-what.
Right. Dusty Baker also had some stuff to say. Johnny brings up Baez, James, Pruitt, and Paredes. Dusty Baker said it's safe to assume that neither Austin Pruitt, Josh James will be able to return to Astros this week before the All-Star break. And Pedro Baez through a live batting practice or bullpen, whatever that is, and is scheduled to throw another one on Friday. I think that's bullpen. It just says BP. So I don't know if that's
Trade Josh James.
Why?
Why not? I would trade him in a heartbeat. Josh James, trade Colin Barber, Josh James, and Abraham Toro for Jake Rogers.
Okay, repeat that.
Josh James.
Okay.
Colin Barber.
Okay.
Is that all you want for Rogers? You think they want more?
Yeah.
Okay. And Abraham Toro.
More.
Jake Rogers is Rogers is not that valuable. He's not more valuable than those three players. No, dude, he's not that valuable. Like he's good, but he's not Craig Kimbrel. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. Or, it's going to be a fun before the deadline move. It's
Taylor Rogers, by the way.
Taylor. Oh, that's saying, yeah. I keep saying Jake Rogers. My bad. Taylor Rogers. Shoot, I'm so old. I'm surprised I haven't said Buck Rogers. Anyways.
All right. So he's a free agent, and so he's arbitration eligible next year. So he's making $6 million this year. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to take a lot to get Taylor Rogers, dude. He's not going to be
three players. You're not going to get more than three players for a relief pitcher. I don't care how good they are. Okay,
Abraham Toro. I mean, Josh James. I'm sorry, Josh James. If you're listening to this podcast, he doesn't have much value right now. He's just nobody's going to trade for Josh James right now.
Hey, I'm just saying he's one of the guys I would trade because I don't want to trade my high value assets.
They're not going to be looking at players that Brett Chancey wants to trade. They're going to be looking at players they want to trade. They're not going to be looking at Joe Smith. Okay.
Jim Crane might have something different to say about that.
Yeah. So, but there definitely going to be a lot of rumors coming up in the next couple of weeks, and it'll be interesting to see. So, tomorrow's matchup is going to be pretty interesting. I know it's going to be Lance McCullers on the mound. It's going to be early game. Who's going to be pitching for the for the A's? It's going to be, saw it earlier. Oh, it's going to be Mr. Frankie Montas.
Oh, we love to light him up.
Yes, and the Astros have a lot of experience against him. So I know that Jose Altuve has a lot of bats, 24 bats, batting 333 with a homer. Michael Brantley, 333 with a home run in 24 bats. Carlos Correa, 316 with a home run. Yuli Gurriel, 364 with a home run.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah, right there is like sky's the limit with these guys, Yordan Alvarez get another home run. And I mean, let's just pile it on. Let's just let them leave the stadium with their tail tucked between their legs with a 6.5 game deficit where we're playing the Yankees.
All right. Hey, Larry, real quick. So what would be a good value for Taylor Jones? Taylor Rogers while we're going to talk about Lance McCullers. You got me all messed up now, Brett.
Don't
So,
blame Taylor Jones on me. That's on you, man. That's on you.
all right. So Lance McCullers is on the mound for the Astros, and he's had once again faced the A's a lot, being in the same division. And the A's have the only A that Matt Chapman has is batting 308 versus McCullers and Ramon Laureano, and only 4 at bats is 500. And Piscotty in 14 at bats is batting 286. Pinder has a home run, and Elvis Andrew has a home run when batting 500. So I think this is going to be a blowout for the Astros.
See, it's an overpay, but appropriately so. See, I'm overpaying, and you wanted to add a player in there. See, so take that. I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Hey, I'm just saying, I'm actually proud of myself. I've been doing some like homework studying. Like Larry the GM has like educated me. Like, it's funny. I showed him this website, I think about a year ago. Then he started using it. And then he's like, remember, it's a website you showed me. And so we've been talking back and forth about different trades. So I've become a little bit more educated on this. So, who knows? I do.
Gio Taylor has one more year of control after this year.
Yeah. So that will and then Larry says, he says right here, Toro has a lot of value, and so does Barber. And that, Colin Barber, I think, is a great prospect.
I think it's more Josh James that I was like, I don't think has a lot of value. That's what I was.
No, but you throw him in there as a concession, and you can say, hey, he can throw over 100. You can say when H-Town Wheelhouse Jr. saw his major league debut, he threw 103 his second pitch or whatever, just anything.
Hey guys, Toro is going to be your primary trade piece for any reliever. I'm sorry to say this. He is the guy.
Oh, yeah, he's going to, he's, I think
as long as if you want to keep some of these like Jeremy Pena and some of these young the Corey Lees of the world, you're going to have to.
They will not trade Corey Lee.
You're going to have to give up something to get something, and we'll have to trade some time tonight to end this podcast. But thank you for listening, and guys, don't forget to check out the Locked On Today podcast. He always does a great job. Get all the sports news you need in under 20 minutes with the Locked On Today podcast. Host Peter Bukowski updates you with the latest news in every major sport with the help of the local experts. Follow the Locked On Today podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast. And we'll be back tomorrow to talk some more Locked On Astros. And are we doing a after show or probably not tonight? No.
It's up to you. We can do an after the show.
All right, we'll do a little bit after the show only for YouTube subscribers. So if you want to do that, you have to tune in to YouTube and subscribe. But we'll talk to y'all tomorrow, and go Astros.
And we're back. The After the Show. This is H-Town Wheelhouse with Eric the Man Huysman. What is up, YouTube people? How y'all doing? Hey, I just want to tell you something. I'm gonna give a little teaser here. Coming up here in a future show. I don't know if it'll probably not be a show, but something I'm gonna record. I'm gonna record an interview with a 17-year-old baseball prospect who's 6'6", 248 pounds. He's one of the premier players that is going into college. I won't say what college he's going to. I'll let him tell you that it is someone that I think has a high upside and is kind of being dubbed as a young Shohei Ohtani type of player. So that will be a cool thing to do. And, this trade deadline thing has got me super pumped, Eric. It is just one of those things where like there's so many possibilities. But it's like when I let my mind go to one possibility, it's like, I don't know if I want to give that up. It's tough. And imagine being James Click, like, because if you make the wrong move and it doesn't work, and then you give away an asset that ends up like crushing it, you're like, oh, there goes JD Martinez. There goes Teoscar Hernandez. You think of the guys that left Houston in trades and did great. But yes, Corey Lee is genuinely untouchable. I know he said all players are on the table. That's not true. That can't be true.
Yeah. So Taylor Rogers has some good value. He does not have the whole. I don't think he has the same value as I can't think anymore.
Josh James?
No,
Oh.
not Josh James. Craig Kimbrel. I don't think he has the same value as Craig Kimbrel, but I think that he could be better.
Kimball's a little higher, like a 12 or 13. And of course, you'd have to go to that. I believe it's baseball values, just baseballvalues.com or yeah. And so you have to do that. And it's just one of those things where if you go to this trade calculator, you can put in different players.
Yeah, Giovanni Gallegos is a guy I want. We are going to have like on an off day or something. I do want to go over all the relievers, but Giovanni Gallegos is one guy I would like. He's somebody I had on my fantasy team for a while there, but it's just I think this guy is somebody the Astros can go after. So this is what Larry the GM says.
Yes. Okay. So that's right on. So if you give them Bart, so if
wait,
Rogers,
did you say McCormick?
I didn't say McCormick, but McCormick is definitely someone that they're going to ask about.
Oh, okay. If you said McCormick, I did not hear that.
No, I did not, but
okay.
He's putting that in there because that's someone that they're going to be asking about.
Yeah, that's somebody because he could be a starting outfielder for most teams with the way he's been going.
Now, if you got someone like Kimbrel, you would have to go with a Toro, Barber, McCormick type of like you would have to go with a lot of big names, and I just like Chas McCormick.
No, Jay, I'm gonna have to ban you, Jay Paul. Joe Kelly really? Oh no.
Why did you put it on there? Anyways, yeah.
This is the after show. It's the after party.
So Colin McHugh is an interesting name that actually came up in a couple conversations I was having with
the Rays, right?
He's only on a 1-year contract. He's only on a 1-year contract
for next year, yeah. But we can't trade. The Rays are not going to trade him to us this year.
Well, because the Rays are competing for the playoffs. Yeah. True. No, I'm just saying his name came up. Someone's like, what about Colin McHugh? I'm like, that's an interesting name. His wife's from here. I mean, I think they want to be in Houston, but I think they tried to get here. But yes, World Traveler. I actually talked about these the other day. Paul Fry, Cisnero, Tanner Scott. Fry and Scott are both from Baltimore, and Cisnero, I believe, is in Detroit. But Scott has a huge upside, his values around 10 or 12 when you look at this trade website. I mean, these are guys, like I mentioned, I believe last night, Eric, you and I were talking about this. When these guys on these bad teams have great stats as relief pitchers, that says something about how good they are. Imagine what they would do with run support. And so that's what you've got to think about.
I don't know if I want to say I'm surprised what's going on in LA with the whole Trevor Bauer situation, but the Dodgers are actually pulling merchandise that has his name on it, and they're pulling a bobbleheads, and I don't want to say I'm proud of them, but I mean that's a bold move. I don't want to go into it, but it's just
yeah, and like I believe all his fellow players are like unfollowing him on Instagram, and that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, it's just I think it's a necessary step with the seriousness of allegations that are surrounding him. We don't know all the facts, but it is a tragic story. But hey, I'm sorry.
Larry,
I gotta have character.
I don't think it's us that's overvaluing Valerie. I can't talk right now. I'm so tired, but I don't think it's us overvaluing Kimbrel. I think it's the Cubs who are going to be.
Right. I think the Cubs are going to say, well, look at Craig Kimbrel now. Look at his stats. Look at how he's doing. I mean, the Cubs are kind of terrible this year. And so I think he's going to, because of his name, garner. It's kind of like when you go to the store and you're like, why is this pair of jeans so much? Oh, it's because of the name brand, not the quality, right? Or you see kids, I'm a 7th grade teacher by day. You see them wearing these ripped jeans, and I'm like, how much you pay for those jeans? Oh, they were $90. I'm like, I wouldn't pay $5 for those things. Oh, but they're worth so much more. Whatever. But we have dealt with the Pirates before. We have the Pirates have guys. See, this is a seller's market. Everybody needs relief pitching. Oakland is going to go out and get a relief pitcher. Oakland's going to go out and try to make a big splash. I think they're going to do it all for naught, but they are going to go out there. Michael Fulmer is out there. He has been used as a closer by AJ Hinch. And so it's just one of those things. You can go in 15 different directions. What they have to figure out, Eric, is who gives them the best chance to gain that extra save, that extra win, those innings they need, right?
Gio's obsessed.
Gio wants Klaus or
Yeah.
Class or whatever, however you say the guy's name.
All right.
What do you think about, hold on, what is this? Larry GM says, what do you think about the series says his
I
value?
think the site. I think
the site. About Kimbrel's site. Well, if okay, so this website is a little tricky because it's not the best. What is it called? Baseball. I believe it's called Baseball Value. Help me out, Larry the GM. I'm looking it up right now. Baseball Values. No, that's not it. Someone help me out. Eric, go ahead, and this is dead, Eric. You just keep talking.
Okay. A lot of people love that Indians pitcher. So Klaus. So even how to pronounce his name.
Okay, it's called baseballtradevalues.com.
Okay.
Baseballtradevalues.com. I don't know what algorithm they use, but there are some of the values that are a little like, you're like, I think they're a little low on some of them. Some of them, I think they're a little high. But what does he say? Kimbrel makes baseball tradables. Okay, I don't know what that means. Dead air doesn't exist on Locked On Astros. You're right, because I am on the show and I won't stop talking. Eric, I once, and this is totally random since this is after the show, I'm just going to share this. Back in 1998, yes, I'm that old. Back in 1998, when I went to Italy, we came back from a 10-day trip to Italy, and I had the nickname called No Borders Brett. And the reason why I had the nickname No Borders Brett is because apparently I carried conversations with people from Italy. They spoke nothing but Italian. I spoke nothing but English. And we had a conversation. That's right. Can't stop, won't stop. I did this, and Eric, check this out. Eric actually fell asleep while I was talking. There you go. Eric the Man Huysman there, everybody. Good job. Hey, he's younger, but who's got longevity? This guy. What part of Italy? I was actually in the northern part of Italy. World traveler. I was in Venice, Aviano, Pisa. We went to Lake Lugano, Switzerland. It was just beautiful going up there and doing that. And Eric's frozen right now, actually. And he's gone. I think he's asleep, but he's back.
You just knocked me off, dude.
Oh, I did. My bad. All right. Okay. So he said the website uses the residual value model.
All righty. So guys, I think that's all we got for tonight's Locked On Astros podcast. The after show, the after party. Hopefully we'll have another good game tomorrow. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and go Astros.
Oh, about the Crosby days.
Later. Bye.